Parents and students may be familiar with the 504 plan. This is a powerful way for students to get needed accommodations in the classroom. Today we're going to discuss what a 504 plan is and how to get approved for it. Before we jump into it, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed. And make sure to check out our other TenneyTube video here where we discuss solutions for mental health crisis in high school students. Before we talk about how to get approved for a 504 plan, let's first talk about what a 504 plan is. TEA.texas.gov states, Section 504 prohibits discrimination on the basis of a disability in programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance from the U.S. Department of Education. What does this mean for students then? Well, students that qualify for a 504 plan will receive accommodations in a public school environment. The idea of the plan is that the student is still in the class with peers but receives accommodations that assist them with being in the classroom. It's important to note that since Section 504 applies only to schools that receive federal funding, private schools are not necessarily required to provide 504 accommodations. As a practical matter, however, most private schools work with some students who require accommodations and will have a program similar to 504, possibly by a different name. It's also important to note that 504 is different than special education. Students approved for special education will have an IEP or an individualized education program instead of a 504 plan. This means the student is not always in the traditional classroom environment and may have separate classrooms with special education certified teachers. The goal of a 504 plan is to break down barriers within the classroom for the student. This allows the classroom to become more accessible to the student. An IEP program is for students who need more customized and individualized learning environment. So, what are some of the qualifications that get students approved for a 504 plan? There are different conditions that qualify, but a school's 504 team must first verify that they have a diagnosis for things like ADHD, autism, epilepsy, a hearing issue, vision impairment, anxiety, or depression. Each qualification process looks into a variety of factors that affect the learning environment for the student. That is what would later dictate the accommodations that are offered. This diagnosis is required first and must be verified by the school. This is a formal evaluation done by the school, with each school district having their own 504 policy. Other factors such as teacher recommendations, test scores, and grades are also looked into. While a 504 plan may not be as specialized as an IEP, they are allowed to give various types of accommodation. These accommodations are evaluated based on the medical diagnosis required for the 504 plan, and they can include things like extra time on tests, seating in the front of the classroom, tests read aloud, extra time for assignments, extended deadlines, modified textbooks, or being read aloud too. So how do you apply for a 504 plan? The first and most important step is to collect documentation on your child's disability. This is a requirement as part of the 504 plan. It's also important to have on hand the student's standardized test scores and report cards. These items are important as they will be needed for the team to assess and develop the student's plan. The second step is to meet the school's 504 coordinator. This is the representative who's in charge of the 504 plan evaluation. It's common that the individual is also the one that is the IEP coordinator as well. It's best to check with the school and get the right person to contact. This will be your primary point of contact for the 504 team. The third step is to write a formal request to the person in charge of the 504 accommodations. In this request, be sure to list all the disabilities your student has, teachers and or private counselor recommendations, test scores, and report cards. Once this request is approved, the school will contact you about developing a 504 plan for your student. If the request is not approved, the school must list the reasons why they did not approve it. You can disagree with this decision and ask for due process hearing if not approved. To conclude, 504 accommodations are an important part of the public education system, and it's important to know how to use them. Also, understanding the difference between a 504 plan and an IEP is important, as some students may require more individualized attention. Finally, open a dialogue with the student and ask them how better accommodations would help them in the classroom. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to today's episode of TenneyTube. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to give us a like, comment, and subscribe for more. Be sure to also hit the bell icon to be notified anytime we go live with a new video.